Construction Battalion. Yeah, been doing that for a few months. Then when I was finished up with school there, training there, I got asked if I wanted to come to Constitution over in Boston, which is great for me. I'm from New Hampshire, close to home, and it's a great duty station. And the station here at the Constitution, the reason why you guys are all here. The USS Constitution, the oldest commissioned warship to float in the world. I'm going to break that title down for you a little bit. Oldest, it was built in 1794 to 1797, making 212 years old. It was built at Edmund Hart Shipyard. If you look to the Coast Guard base right over there, you see those white ships, those Coast Guard ships. That was where the Edmund Hart Shipyard was, part of that area right there. So it's been at Boston pretty much its whole life. Commission, it's an active Navy ship. We have active duty Navy sailors and reserve sailors here that represent the ship in the Navy. Warship, it was built to fight wars, go into battles, something like that. Go to war nowadays if you want to, but the wars nowadays will probably be over by the time we got there. And afloat, that's the key part of its title right there. There's a ship about 32 years old in Portsmouth, England, the HMS Victory, if you guys heard of that. That's in a permanent dry dock, that won't see any water again. We're floating right here. We're just going to meet that water, so we're holding it up and making sure we go away, go underway. So that's kind of the part of the title.
Go ahead, you go first.
I'll let you take all the stuff.
So cool.
It is cool.
I'm from New England, so it's the top center. You'd have 32 24-pound long guns. Obviously, they don't weigh 24 pounds. Look, they're very heavy. Anyone take a stab at how much this gun would weigh right here with the carriage? 1,000 pounds. Any more guesses?
What are they about 4,000?
4,000 pounds?
More.
The gun with the carriage right here weighs about 6,500 pounds. They get to number 24 pound, that's the size shot they fire, a cannonball. Now the Navy does kind of weird things, like to change stuff up a bit. If you have a gun on board a ship, you bring this very gun right here, on land it becomes a cannon, so it's the same exact thing. So on land it fires cannonballs, when it's on a ship it fires shot. I don't know if you heard, on a ship we don't have any rope on a ship, we have line. This is the line, but you bring it on shore, it becomes rope. It's all the same thing. So 24 pounds is the size shot it fires, the size cannonball. If you look back over here, we have some cannonballs, there's some shot laying right there to get an idea of what size they were. So I said 6,500 pounds. You need a crew anywhere between 7 to 14 men to operate one of these guns right here. When they recoil back about 6 feet. So if you're standing right behind this thing, you'd probably be thinking of a Ford Explorer coming at you at 35 miles per hour. So these are kind of dangerous, and you guys got very good at how to operate these things really quick. A good gun crew could fire one of these guns and reload it and have it ready between 90 and 120 seconds. 90 seconds to just over around 2 minutes. For structural integrity and to make it stronger in battle and high seas, which is the way to do it. Alright, so this is the berth deck, guys, or the crew's berthing. You can see right here we have our hammock set up. That's where the crew would have slept. They had about 18 to 24 inches of room for each sailor to sleep in. The lower ranking you were, the closer to the middle you were, just because it was where all the heat was and the least comfortable. Higher ranking probably had a bulkhead to swing up against, a little bit more room. If you're really lucky, you would have a porthole up against. But kind of the thing about portholes is, the reason why they're called portholes is they're only open in port. You don't want to have one of these things open and then catch some good wind and have the ship lean over and have water just spill in here. So we have all the way forward past the hammocks is where sick bay was. So if you're recovering from injury or if you were ill and you were getting better, you were healing, they put you up there, they quarantine you with a sail or cloth and kind of separate you from the rest of the crew. If you look behind these doors right there is a wardroom, and that's where the officers slept. Each officer had his own stateroom, and about the size of a broom closet with his own hammock and a desk. Not much room, but better than sleeping with 100 other sailors in here. And then you had your midshipmen in there, about 30 midshipmen. Those are officers in training. Before the Naval Academy started, they would train on ship, and they'd sleep on the floor in there. And then in between the officers and wardroom and the crew right here, you had your Marines, 56 Marines. Some of their jobs aboard the ship were to lead boarding parties during battles. Also, those platforms you saw up there on the mast, those are called fighting tops. And we had about 10 to 12 Marines up there. They were sharpshooters during battle. And they also maintained order and discipline on the ship, which was part of their job too. All right, guys, it's August 19th, 1812, and we're sailing a couple hundred miles off the coast of Nova Scotia. We know of a British squadron in the area. We were a great intelligence at the time. It was probably something we heard about a month ago, so we're going to go check it out. About 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we see a ship off on the horizon. That's when our Captain Isaac Hall tells the Marine drummer to beat the men at quarters. He gets on the snare drum, and that's telling everybody to get their guns ready for battle and make preparations for battle. Part of the preparations include getting the deck all wet with water. If you look over here, there's a couple of bilge pumps right there. They would have pumped all the water up, or a bunch of water up from below decks to get this deck wet. So we had sparks flying from the guns and wouldn't catch anything on fire. A lot of the sailors barefoot at the time. This was in the summertime, they didn't need to wear shoes, and also just try to keep them all looking good for when they pulled into port. So they had to put sand on the deck for traction. So they had a wet deck with some sand, so they had traction. We have the guns all ready. This is kind of a green crew, kind of fresh. This is early on in the war of 1812. So we got a lot of new guys. Only imagine how anxious and probably nervous they were to get started with this battle. When the ship gets close enough, we identify it as the HMS Guerriere. And what she does when she sees us is she hauls up 3 British flags saying they want to challenge us to a fight. So how we respond, we haul up 4 American flags saying we accept your challenge and we're ready to fight. About 1,200 yards away, which is about the maximum range of these guns, they had similar guns to we did, they start firing at us. Just probably out of their range, they're splashing around us, the cannonball is just missing us. We don't fire any shots yet. We're getting closer though, 100 yards, 800 yards, still don't fire any shots yet. Now they might be making contact with us, causing minor damage, if any. We still don't fire any shots yet, 600 yards, 400 yards. Now this is like their effective range right there, and they're probably causing a little bit of damage, but not too much. It's somebody's job to keep out these gun ports right here during battle and to assess the damage of what's going on during the war, during the battle. Some poor soul puts his head out there while we're getting shot at, and you see these cannonballs bouncing off the side of the ship, embedding themselves into the wood, and then rolling back out into the ocean, not causing much damage at all. He gets so excited, he peeks his head back in the side, yells to the rest of the crew, "Huzzah, her sides are made of iron!" Big boost of confidence goes to the crew. Thinking we have a chance to fight these guys, we might win. But we haven't fired any shots yet. We're getting closer, 300 yards, 100 yards, we still haven't fired a shot yet. 50 yards away, we're half a football field away, still haven't fired a shot yet. 35 yards away. You can see the whites of their eyes when we're looking at their gun ports, and they're that close to us right there. Finally, about 30 yards away, that's when the captain yells, "Now boys, pour into her!" A full broadside right into the side of the ship right there, close range, causing so much damage, knocking down its mizzen mast, which is the aft-post mast, into the water. Now you're creating this big sea anchor and can't maneuver at all, or it's very difficult to maneuver. We fire more shots, causing even more damage. Then we try to get to a position called a raking position. So you get to the front or the back of the ship, which is like the weakest part right there, to fire to the broadside. Well, it's kind of an inexperienced crew, remember I said that? Cut that corner a little too tight, collided with the Guerriere. So now we're all tangled up because it was rigging and all the spars and stuff like that. There's all this confusion, are they going to board us, are we going to board them, what's going to happen right there? That's when Marine Lieutenant William S. Bush yells to the captain, "Now sir, shall I board her?" As soon as he says that, you get shot in the face with musket fire, dying immediately. You become the first Marine officer to die on board a U.S. Navy ship. Fire another broadside though, we're still tangled up. We do manage to get another shot off, causing more damage, and at that point we were able to break away from the Guerriere, knocking down its remaining 2 masts, its main mast and its foremast. And now you have this big, expensive floating canoe in the water there. It's useless. And that's how we defeat the Guerriere, and that's how we got our name Old Ironsides. Now I was saying downstairs, is there any iron on board the ship? And there's not, it's correct. It was a live oak that made it its strength right there. As we said, it was only found in the southeast United States, about 5 times denser than any other oak, or white oak at least. And if you look at these gun ports, you can see when you walk around, you can see how it's set up like a sandwich. You have your 2 outside layers of white oak, and then you have your middle layer as live oak. So when these cannonballs are penetrating halfway through and falling back into the ocean, it was anywhere between 21 to 28 inches thick, average about 25 inches thick right there. That's how it got its name. So the Constitution has been through some good times. It's been 33 victories, 0 losses. Boston's only undefeated team, if you kind of think about it that way.
think I looked.
Oh yeah. Gotta follow the line.
So funny.
How would you like to have a house right on the Freedom Trail? It'd be funny if the line went around into a circle. Everybody's going around in circles. I wonder if you can get all the way up to the top. Hey, Ann.
Hey. Go in there.
Here we are at the top of Bunker Hill. Barely able to breathe, Long way down.